Yesterday, some pretty credible-looking gameplay footage of what was allegedly Grand Theft Auto 6 leaked on the internet, and then spread rapidly across it, to the point that now, after about a day's worth of Rockstar firefighting, they're not even remotely close to wiping all of it off the internet. Now, they managed to get most of what was on YouTube, with a few exceptions here and there, but the, straight up forgotten video platforms like Vidme, etc., still has pretty much all of it available. Now, there was a little bit of speculation to begin with whether or not this was really Grand Theft Auto 6 footage, but it has now been officially confirmed by Rockstar that it is, in fact, GTA, Jesus Christ, footage that had leaked. And more importantly than the footage is what they said here. The company said in an official statement Monday morning that the intrusion resulted in an unauthorized third party illegally accessing and downloading confidential information from our systems. Interesting wording, because you see, the hacker himself has apparently, the alleged hacker I should say, has apparently claimed that he has gotten a hold of the source code for Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6, and he is trying to blackmail Rockstar with this in return for $100,000 apparently. Bear you in mind, this all comes from highly unverified secondary and tertiary sources, so, you know, pinch of salt, etc. But if I was going to go through all of the trouble of breaking into Rockstar's servers, I might indeed try to nab more than a 90-minute rough gameplay demo video, so I can absolutely see it. Now, whether or not Rockstar will cave in, dubious. Here's the thing, the source code is theoretically valuable in that it would give you a lot of access to, you know, Rockstar's secret, how they built the game world, how their engine functions, etc., the various animations, their systems, their workflows, things like this that has theoretic value. But it's not like a company can just, you know, swing around and sell this as a fully made game or anything, since Rockstar will in all due likelihood have copyright protections on their various types of source code and the specific, ways it is implemented. Now, trademarking and copyrighting source code is a little bit difficult, but if you simply just copy it straight up, yeah, that'd probably be fairly obvious, not to mention that would obviously imply you in purchasing the stolen code to begin with, so yeah, its value is theoretical at best. Now, what it also confirmed, which is perhaps even more interesting from my perspective, is the fact that you will be playing as a dual character this time around, a male and a female lead. Now, you know, in theory, I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. This kind of Bonnie and Clyde style thing. In fact, it's kind of what I've been arguing for quite a few years now, and I do need to write out a proper video on that, actually, because I remember I did a piece on this years ago, but I think I could summarize it a little bit better now. But basically, my idea is the future of role-playing games in particular lies in companion characters, because, I mean, this is Grand Theft Auto 6. You have played Grand Theft Auto before, you will play Grand Theft Auto again. Hell, you've probably been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for the last god only knows how many years. You are very familiar with the experience, shall we say. So, how do you make that fresh, interesting, and appealing? Well, nobody's actually done proper companion characters yet. And I mean here an actual genuine companion. Something that, well, to boil it down to its most basic core components, lets you imagine what it's like to have friends. I mean, it's basically it. It is the creation of an idealized partner, an idealized friend, lover, etc., an idealized relationship in a virtual world. A companion character that is going to be useful to you in that world, that will help you, as the leaked footage actually shows, knock over stores, you hold guns to people's head and go like, give me the cash register, etc., whilst the AI companion is actually keeping all of the civilians on the floor, not calling the police, etc. Or giving you story tidbits, explaining parts of the scenario to you, like, oh, this gang has these and these colors because this and this, and lore dumps, etc. it's a really good idea, bearing in mind I am being rather optimistic when I'm thinking that's what they're doing, because, well, here's the flip side. We have also been told, apparently, that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a far more progressive game. Which sends cold shivers down my spine. And it will be very careful to only punch up. Which in this day and age basically means that it will be extraordinarily racist to white people, and white people only, but oh well. Not like we're not getting used to it, I suppose. So, do they have the team to pull this off? Oh. On the one hand, Grand Theft Auto 5 made a near infinite amount of money. Red Dead Redemption 2 also made a fairly big bank, oh yes, but well, bearing in mind here, okay, so let's talk about the leaked footage itself, shall we? Because there's been a lot of noise around that. I don't think it's actually hurt Rockstar in any way, and I certainly don't think it's hurt Grand Theft Auto 6 in any way, because the footage is obviously rushed. It is obviously, well, rushed. It's probably recorded literally by the hacker, who is, calling up a bunch of scenarios. You see consoles on screen to previously got access to the back end. You see the animation rigs, you see the skeletons, etc. All of this nonsense, right? And it looks alright. Animations look pretty damn good. The graphics look satisfactory. It certainly doesn't look like a graphical revolution, which is a little bit disappointing. It was one of the few things that I really was blown away by Cyberpunk 2077, was the fact that it was the first game in years that I looked at and went, wow, this is actually pretty. Bearing in mind, I grew up in the ancient generation where we basically had graphical revolutions from title to title to title to title, and never mind once a decade or something. The voice acting looked good as well, the animations looked reasonable, it wasn't too bad, but it didn't look revolutionary in any way, shape or sense. Now, does GTA 6 need to be? Well, that's the thing. Nor was there really any indication of the woke progressive agenda either, but cutouts of the video games, and who truly knows. It did have, again, that knockover scene where they were raiding the shop, which looks cool. That's a pretty nice little feature, which shows the cooperation between the player and the AI companion, which I'm very interested in and could potentially be very revolutionary, but again, do they have the team to pull that off? One of the problems with progressive game making tends to be that it chases out anyone with actual genuine talent, and those with an opinion and a drive to actually innovate and create something new. This is what we see in virtually every franchise that they've invested in. Rather, for the recent He-Man nonsense, for example, that has like 3 seasons now, apparently. I didn't even know season 2 was out, which, okay, I'm gonna watch it either. The entire point, like, He-Man has a much better animations, much better visual budget, and a really good voice acting, for the comparison to the, 80s, 60s, 70s show or whatever, and there was that one incredibly good trailer. But the show itself has nothing to do with He-Man, because it is the progressives moving in and going, you know what, we can do better. So let's just wear the skin suit and see what it gets us, and 9 times out of the 10, it is straight down the drain. The Rings of Power is another wonderful example of that, as they are taking a setting that literally could not fail if you just followed the instructions left behind by the author, and they're turning it into a boring-ass $5 billion train wreck. What I suspect may very well be happening, and this is based on nothing more than the fact that, punching up, etc., most progressive GTA ever, blah blah blah, is that there might be a brand new generation, or at the very least a large number of people from a brand new generation moving into Grand Theft Auto 6 and saying, all of those previous games, they were neat and all, but they were misogynistic, they were sexist, they were racists, and so now we are going to fix it all and make a much better game. Well, we'll have to wait and see about that, I suppose. But interesting nevertheless, a little bit of a peek at it. It's apparently 2 years plus away, and if the source code really has been leaked, maybe we'll actually get some answers as to the story as well, and how punching up it really has become. Assuming Rockstar is not willing to pay the ransom, which I doubt they do. $100,000 is probably chump change to them, but It's kind of the message here. Not to mention, that's a bit worrying too, isn't it? So, Grand Theft Auto these days are basically a live service game. You entrust these people with your credit card information or with a frightening frequency, and yet their security systems or their most top-guarded secrets is, well, a bit shoddy. Oh well, indeed. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.